Well, hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Argsy Farms here on the Oaks Realistic Multiplayer server. We have just finished soil sampling our brand new field. Yep, that's right, I said we were going to buy a new field, and here we are. This is it. Field number 28 is now all ours. Now, as we finish, we can lift that all up and get it folded up. It is currently, has barley or wheat? Actually, let's just double check that. What's it got growing? Oats. I was close. One of the three cereal crops, but currently growing with oats. We have gone and bought it, and we've just gone through and sampled it, hopefully to get some lime. I know it's a little bit late in the process, but we can still drive on this with all tyres and tracks, so we can get in and spread some lime, or get someone to spread some lime on it for us. Mark Caithlin-Thwaite did spread lime across all our other fields, so we might pay him to come in here and do this one. But on top of that, not only have we sampled this field, but if you would look across in the distance, there's been a few other little changes. And I'll bring up the map, because that's probably going to be the easiest way to explain it, as we'll head back in over here and park up. We're just taking a look up here in our corner of paradise. We just bring up the menu there. You can see field number 28 is the one we've purchased, and that's got those oats growing in there. Now, due to unforeseen circumstances, Days isn't going to be able to be on the server quite as much as they'd like over the next calendar year and game year, and isn't really going to be able to farm the fields he wanted to in quite the way he wanted to. So we've offered to lease field number 29 up here off him. So we've taken that on as well, and we have just gone through and soil sampled all of that. So we'll get that spread and we'll get a crop pot up into there. So we're now, when you start looking at our empire, at 28, 30, 33, 34, 35 and 96, as well as now a lease here on 29. Now the other question, what does that mean for field 33? No, it's not going to have potatoes in it. We're going to put a cereal crop of some description in there. I still haven't quite determined exactly what we're going to do, but for now it's wheat here into 34, 35. We were going to put canola into 31, and now we've got to think about what we're going to do with 29 and 33. I think I might still carry on and put some grass around the outside of this, just so we've got a little bit of grass to harvest across the season. And just to create our field, I might just cut a part off the side here and plant that in some grass and leave the rest in a cereal crop or something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly what we're going to do, but before we go any further, we'll bring that up and we will send these soil samples off to be analysed. Now we now need to return this soil sampling back down to TW Farms, so we will go for a little bit of a drive, go and drop this off, and then we're going to be back and starting planting some wheat. So it really is fully into spring and all systems go for us here on the farm. So soil sampling equipment are returned. We're now shifting our attention to getting the seeder all filled up. So we are putting wheat in here. This is 1,000 litres or 2,000 litres of wheat. I can't remember how much there is in each of these bags. I think about 2,000 litres. I'm actually surprised we're able to pick this up without any weight here on the back of the tractor, but it seems to be handling it alright so far. Now, just slowly nudge our way in here, make sure we can get this all emptied into the back of the hopper here. See if we can find the trigger. There we go, that's unloading. Let's try and tip it down just to get it a little bit closer. There we go, that's going pretty perfectly. And of course it is 2,000 litres because it tells us down in the bottom. So we'll get this loaded up. Of course this is using the realistic seed mod where we are having to use just wheat seed. We've also got some canola seed there in the shed for when we get into the canola fields, which does mean, it kind of dictates that we're really going to put canola or wheat in the other fields. Bear in mind that I do not have any seed for the grass, so we are going to have to go up to the shop and get some grass seed at some stage, I expect. So maybe we do that. Maybe we're going to get some grass seed and some other seed too. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's plantable. Now, if we just pull up next to this one, these bags have to be a certain way around for the hook to work, so it might do something a little bit funky when we clip it on. Here we go. It has to spin around. Don't know why that is. Must just be the way the bag mod is made. But let's go and get this one put up in, and then we're going to head on down, get those two wheat fields seeded, and yeah, looking forward to getting some more crops into the ground and setting ourselves up for another busy season. Well, that's us all full up and ready to go. Now we'll just get the cover closed on the plant. You can see that rolling across there. Of course, we'd normally be out doing that by hand, but needs must. Now, let's head on off. We're good with diesel. We're just on, I think, about 80% full, so we're not going to run out of that anytime soon. And we'll head on down and start getting some wheat into the ground. Like I said, I'm going to go down and try and get these 2 fields done. Of course, we will carry on using proceeds. We are going to have the tram lines and everything in the fields, so looking forward to getting those working again. It's been a good experiment and a lot of fun. And of course, headland management, or the VCA, sorry, using the headland mode where it follows the headlands around, which is again, been enjoying using that too. It's going to take a little bit of getting into the swing of it again. It's been a while since we last ran that, so we'll have to figure it out as we go. But let's get on down to the field. We'll make a start. Well, here we are down in the field, and we'll just get this all unfolded, and we'll double check everything seems to be up and running, get it turned on, powered up. Sounds like everything's good there. We'll just get it lowered down. We're just going to do a little bit of a pass and just make sure we're going to get some seed in the ground before we go and make a start on doing this properly. There we go, that all looks to be pretty good, so we'll just get that lifted up, and we'll go and take a look behind us and make sure everything is working as it should, that we're getting the seed in the ground, that everything else is looking good. There we go. It is showing us wheat, it is showing us growing, and everything's all looking good. So, no complaints there. Right, let's go and get ourselves set up. First up, we'll be trying to get the VCA sorted out on headland following, and then we'll worry about getting the proceed working and getting our tram lines in. We don't have to do that until the 3rd lap. We're going to carry on with our 30 metre sections. That works well with our sprayer. I think the sprayer is 32 metres, although we might look to be replacing that later on this season, just because that one doesn't seem to fold up very well. And it also works with our spreader, which of course can do up to 42 metres, but we can narrow that down to work on the 30 metres as well. So let's jump up in here, have a little bit of a play around with some of the configurations, and get up and planting. Well, it's been a while, but I think we've got everything set up properly. I'm just going to put my cruise control on there. I'm just going to bump that speed right back down to 4, maybe 5 miles per hour. There we go. And you can see, as the tractor's adjusting, we've got the little guideline down there that we are doing our headland following. Now, we're going to do 2 laps of the field, and then we're going to turn our tram lines on. We've got the tram lines set to manual mode at the moment, so we can go through and turn those on as and when we need to. So let's just carry on. I think we're going pretty good. It's a good start. Just have a look behind us, make sure everything's looking pretty good. I think I've got the width and everything all configured just how we need it. So we'll jump into a little bit of a time lapse to start things off here, and we will get into this field. These are the 2 we're going to be planting, this one here and the one over the fence. So it's going to be good. Have our first few crops in the ground. Looking forward to it. Right, let's carry on, and we'll catch up with you probably once we've got the headlands done and before we start into the middle of the field. Well, there we go. That's our 3 headland passes done, and we've just laid down, like you can see, because we don't have the visual side of it turned on, but we have just laid down our first tram line. So now we've done that, we have to get things turned off on this side of things with the headland following, and we are going to set ourselves up on a course running along this edge. We have to make sure we set ourselves up on the right rows and get everything up and going, but that should stop there. It should just about do us. So let's just think about how we're going to do this. We have to turn off the following for headland mode, and let's go back down here. You should be able to now see about setting up a proper course using the vehicle control add-on. Now, I did say when we were driving across it was vehicle control add-on which did the headland following, but of course it's headland management mode which does that. So I was a little bit incorrect there with that, but it's making right that counts. Right, let's have a look and see if we can set ourselves up a course. Well, I think we finally set up and planting properly. We did have to go and change to align ourselves on the edge of the field, because obviously the way the auto works here for the proceed is it starts from the edge. So we needed to make sure we were on row number 4 here, which you can see we are now tracking down, which means that the next row as we go back would be 5, then we do 1, 2, and then third one. So that is our sort of 30 meter, or our 5 times 6 meter offset. Just a little bit out of alignment there, but that's alright, we can go through and fix those up a little bit later. So I think with that all done, we're now up and ready to go planting. A lot of time mucking around with this, I've got to admit. I'm still not probably doing it the best way possible, but it's working, so that's all that matters to me. And I'm having fun doing it. It's always nice to try some of these different things that you don't use very often and just mix it up with the mods that you do use. So let's carry on. We'll get this one seeded and then we'll be into the next field. Well, there we are. We are finished in this field. We've got 27% of our seed left, so we've used a good chunk of it. This field is bigger than the one next to us, though, but I think we may have to get the rest of the seed brought down. I'm just trying to figure out. It's probably just as easy to bring it down with the tractor. Just bring it down on the front of the loader and putting it into the seeder that way rather than taking the seeder back. It doesn't really matter, it's still an extra trip one way or the other with the piece of equipment, but let's head on in here and we will go in and see about making a start on this field as well. Alright, we'll get this all unfolded. Now we are going to have to set up our headland management again to get our contour following, and then we'll be into it. We should be able to use the same course we were using. The only difference would be, actually I might reset it, because the difference will be the rows won't be set up quite correctly, so we'll reset that and then we'll get into it properly. So there we go, things are all set up now, so we should be pretty much all good to go. We'll jump back into using our cruise control here on the way around. Now because this is a bit smaller field, I think we will just jump straight into another time lapse and just work our way through it. So we'll catch up with you once we're finished, or out of seed, whichever comes first. Well, as you can see, we did run out of seed before we got the field finished. We also ran out of time, and we've now moved forward. We're actually a day later. We finished, came back here on March the 6th, or 6th day of March, and we're now into the 7th day of March, which is leaving us just now to go and get finished. So we're going to jump back here into the tractor, going to head on over, actually get these hoses. This is one thing with the manual attach mode, that those will disconnect when you leave the server. It doesn't remember how you left them, which is a little bit frustrating, but we've remembered it. But this tractor's filthy. The Real Dirt mod with that lime that's been on the field is really making things look pretty messy. But anyhow, that's what you expect from a tractor that's doing a whole lot of work in spring, getting some crops planted. So we're going to head on over. We will go and carry on getting things in the ground. See, we are back over at the field, and it looks like everything has been remembered for us. So we've got our ProSeed all set up. Our course that we had with VCA is still set up there and running, and we're on track number 4, which should be correct. We've got 1, 2, 3, and this is our 4th one. The one just to our left will be our track with our tram lines in it. So we're just going to carry on. We've got 4 headlands done for most of it. It's just this part we didn't do 4 headlands on. The reason I did the 4th on this, I thought after only doing 3 on the previous field, 4 just meant that when I get to the end and lift things up before we can lift things up and get them cleared out of the ground before we run back over the tram lines. I expect in that field, when crops come up, we're going to have some tram lines which have crops sort of growing across them, which isn't quite ideal, but because we're here, we're stopping and lifting up on the 4th headland, we're dodging that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're doing. We're just going to carry on here, get back up maybe this row here, get that all back going, and get this field planted. So carry on with another time lapse, and we'll see when we're finished. Well, there we go. I think that is the field all done. We're just going to go out the entrance up here. Of course, it's the way you get out of the field. But we will just tidy up these little bits on the corner. You would have seen us doing those on the other ones. Just get to here. One thing I hadn't actually looked at as we did that was whether I had any issues with the rows turning on or not with the auto row, but might have just dodged it. Not sure, but there we go. Drive that one out. 1, 2. And we're done. Get that lifted up, we'll turn it off and fold it all up, and that's our 2 wheat fields done. So we'll just have a look at that on the map. So there we go, fields 34 and 35 both planted in wheat. Now it does show up a few of these little spots which are missing. I'm pretty confident that these are to do with our rows for our tram lines. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it did show up last time we had sort of similar sort of things, but I did have the whole field planted, so nothing to worry about there. Now, what we're going to do for field 33, I'm not sure yet. 31 is definitely canola, but I'm still giving that some thought about what we're going to do. If we have a look at the planting calendar Wheat's ending, but we do still have a big window here for barley, canola and oats. Of course, corn and sunflowers could be a consideration. Soybeans a little bit out of the area, but we could even look at putting some sorghum in. So we've still got a couple more, at least another month to make a choice, and we do still have an option or a couple of options should we choose to go just that little bit longer and figure out what we're going to do. But let's get this all back down to the yard. We've actually playing that pretty well with our wheat seed, only 8% left, which is pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that because we don't have any more wheat to plant, so happy days, good planning. Right, let's get this down and back to the field. Need to turn the Pro Seed off to stop that beeping as well, but we'll see you back down at the yard. Alright, well there we are, back here at the yard, everything packed away and all done. So I think that is going to be a perfect space for wrapping things up today. I did notice as we were driving back, just going to have a look out here in the field, our new field. Looks like Mark has been out, he's putting some lime on that for us after getting our soil sampling done. In fact, we haven't actually looked at the soil sampling. Let's take a quick look at what the results were for that. There we go, we've got a good mix of loam, sandy loam and a little bit of loam sand, so it's actually a pretty good field. It's one of the reasons I did want to buy this, and we've actually been pretty fortunate. This field here is really the only one with any of the silty clay on it, so not really too hamstrung by those yields, and that's why you can see there's been some quite popular purchases of land through the top with other farmers picking those up as well. And if you start looking around, there's not too many farms, field 21 there and a field 15, 10, 8, where the worst soils exist. So it's definitely a consideration when we're in here buying the fields, taking a look at what the potential environmental score is there, 116 versus 91. So no brainer to buy 42 over 43. So there we go, that is us all done for the month of March here on the farm. Lots more planting still to be done, we've got lots more fields to cover, and we will be keeping busy over the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that work and a few more videos to cover that. But for today, that is us. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll catch you in the next one.